welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. I'm Nikita Arora. This video isn't about the royal wedding, but the buzz around it did highlight the bizarre etiquettes members of the royal family still follow. And it's interesting because it makes you wonder how a country that touts itself as so progressive, modern and democratic is still so steeped in adulation for the monarchy. And what is also amusing is how strictly and with so much devotion the royal family still follows all of these pointless eccentricities. Let's go over them one by one. Curtsy. That is a curtsy. The lower and longer you bow, the more respect you show. And unless you learn to do that, you run the risk of offending the Queen. No nicknames. The royal family forbids nicknames. Everyone has a name and a title. So she's not Kate. She's Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge. She is not Khaleesi. She's Daenerys Targaryen, the Duchess of Dragonstone. Don't go to bed before the Queen. It's not a rule, but it's what the Queen expects. William Heseltine, who worked for the royals for over 30 years, says that nobody felt it right to go to bed before the Queen. But Diana would often excuse herself as the royal evenings, the long royal evenings, were an agony for her. So in the royal household, you can't just doze off whenever you wish. Eat fast or go hungry. Now this is where it gets really strange. You better have finished your meal before the Queen has. Yeah, because when the Queen puts her cutlery down, everyone at the table must stop eating. Well, fortunately, the Queen is 90 now, so she probably doesn't eat very fast. But what a weird custom. Talking during a meal. If you're seated to Her Majesty's right, you will be spoken to during the first course of the meal. If you're seated to her left, you will have to wait your turn till the second course. When Formula 1 star Lewis Hamilton tried to chat up the Queen at her lunch, she had to ask him to wait his turn. No, you speak that way first and I speak this way and then I'll come back to you, she said. Don't show your back to the Queen. This is my favorite. So after meeting the Queen, if you're exiting the room, you have to walk backwards in order to avoid showing her your back. So here's a tutorial from Homer on how to do that. The Queen isn't going to be very pleased if you're clumsy and topple all over her precious furniture. Don't walk in front of the Queen. If you are of a lower rank than the Queen, which obviously everyone is, you cannot walk in front of her. Her husband, Prince Philip, always walks a few steps behind her. Don't touch the royals. Monarchs are considered to be appointed by divine power, so they're seen as above us mere mortals. We can't just touch them. In 2014, LeBron James received a lot of criticism for putting his arm around Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, for a photograph. Incidentally, everyone's darling, Michelle Obama, created quite a stir when she hugged the Queen. This whole don't touch the royals thing reeks of such elitism. The sitting royal rule applies only, of course, to the royal women. They must keep their legs together at all times. Crossing them at the knees is an absolute no-no. They can cross them at the ankles or slant them in an awkward pose called the Duchess slant. Dress modestly. The royals are expected to dress modestly. So no low necklines, no cleavage, no short skirts. Apparently, for an Australia tour, the Queen ordered longer hemlines for Kate. So whether you're a commoner or a royal or whatever else, I guess if you're a woman, there will always be someone asking you to dress modestly and defining it for you. All these etiquettes are so outdated, but they are ardently followed by the royals. Anyone who falters is closely watched and criticized. Meghan's first courtesy to the Queen, for example, needlessly ridiculed for being too wobbly, too low, not confident enough, and so on. Don't talk to the Queen, don't sleep before the Queen, don't eat before the Queen, don't eat after the Queen, don't touch the Queen. An endless list of do's and don'ts that are so behind in time and so archaic. We're probably better off being the privileged commoners who can talk, walk, eat and dress as we please. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to get notified every time I upload a new video.